Inner Quest explores various pathways through which you can connect with the infinite wisdom of the universe and apply it to personal, professional, and spiritual growth. This program, featuring accomplished practitioners, educators, and authors, is provided by Infinity Foundation, an innovative center for holistic studies and research. We invite you to share this journey with us.
Hello, welcome to Inner Quest. My name is Jay Stone, your host for today, and our guest is Miguel Latronica. Welcome, Miguel.
Thank you, Jay. So nice to be here.
Well, it's really been a pleasure to meet and spend time with you. In case you're wondering, Miguel is ERT, an experienced registered yoga teacher.
Yes.
And he's been teaching yoga and stretch therapy for over 25 years. Miguel has been awarded 3 fitness-related patents and has a school of yoga. He also manages the Mighty Body Band program at the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute.
Yes.
Where he and his yoga school program are under contract to teach the Mighty Body Band and the Latronica method. And you're also working on this book called The 8 Limbs of Yoga.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some more questions about that. And we are going to actually demo the Mighty Body Band for our audience. And I had the good fortune of doing a little session with you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, earlier today.
Yes.
So describe to our audience, or tell our audience, what is the Mighty Body Band?
Okay, thank you. Well put. So Jay, the Mighty Body Band, right off the bat, it's a full body fitness band. So in other words, you can work the legs, you can work the core, you can work the arms, the shoulders, the hips, all the different parts of your body. I come from the yoga world, as you had just so succinctly alluded to, and so I've seen so many people over the years, you know, with different styles of practice. I got into yoga because I had a really bad back. That's should probably start out by saying that. And I had such a bad back, I had very little cure. So little by little, I started making these different products and things to help my back pain. And one day, somebody walked into my house when I built a studio, and they walked up where I created a fitness studio, and they said, Miguel, do you realize that you just built a Pilates machine? I had no idea what a Pilates machine was, but I built tractioning devices that were static and dynamic, but it was big, it was arduous, it took a lot to build it. So
were you always very creative, by the way?
I was very creative, and I was very, my family had an engineering firm, so I was into fabrication and things like that, so I really had a heads up on the development end of it, yes. So anyway, little by little, I noticed that there were a lot of the products that were out there for people who were doing yoga and Pilates. They were all really big products. So I really looked at fitness, I looked at yoga, I looked at Pilates, and I realized that there was a way to work through all the different kinds of exercising for yoga and Pilates through one simple band that weighs 4.5 pounds.
And when did the Mighty Body Band start? When did you create it, or when did you? How many patents do you have for the Mighty Body Band?
I have 3 patents on it, and I just recently, one is actually going through, ironically enough, tomorrow, and it's actually for the whole system that you'll be seeing, this 3rd one. But in 2009 is when I filed for it, so I've been working the Mighty Body Band since 2009. There are some companies in China that have it, and of course many Pilates and yoga studios around the country.
Yeah, and you, earlier today you were telling me the military eventually is going to use your product.
Yes, well, one of the fitness advisors there had contacted me and actually reviewed our product and said, Miguel, there's other products that they use. Once they get a hold of this product, I promise you everybody will have this in the field with them because it's portable, it's light, and it offers a lot of different ways of working out.
Well, I know doctors and therapists, they often recommend low impact exercise.
Yes.
Would you consider the Mighty Body Band low impact?
You know, that's the great question, Jay, and yes. That's the great thing about it, is that it is low impact. So people who have maybe knee issues or certain ailments, it is such a great system with low impact. It builds the core, it makes you look healthy, you feel healthy, and it's for everyone. I work with high school kids with it. I even work with 90-year-old people. I work with NFL people.
Yeah, you were, and some professional basketball players.
Yes.
You mentioned.
Yes.
And is this at the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, or is this other
Yes,
places?
it is. It's at Illinois Bone Institute. It was actually at one of my studios that I had here in Highland Park as well. Yes.
Well, and I also should disclose that you're married to Dr. Mary Farhi.
Yes.
And so that's actually how we discovered
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Because she's a registered yoga teacher.
Yes.
And she mentioned the Mighty Body Bands.
Yes.
Now, was she involved in the development and testing of the body bands?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have a wife like Mary, so thank you for saying that.
Well, she's brilliant.
She is.
And and her heart matches the wisdom in her head.
It's truly. I learn from her every day. She's
well, and she continues to learn. She'll always be one step ahead of you.
That's right, Jay. That's right. So she wasn't involved in the actual development of the product itself, but she was involved in the process of disclosing it and disclosing the program to different sectors of the population, such as yoga people, Pilates people, people who have, certain conditions or ailments with their knees, things like that.
Okay. Now, in my hand, I'm holding
Yes.
a folder
Yes.
that if somebody buys the Mighty Body Band, this is what they would get.
Yes.
And so let's go through it. I mean, obviously, this is the DVD with all of the...
It's a DVD. It's got 4 different workout programs in there. It's got the manual in there as well.
And a question.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Now, 4 different programs. How do you break up the programs?
Yes. Well, some people only have 15 minutes a day. That's all they have. So we built a band, and we wanted people to get pretty much a full body workout in 15 minutes. So the 15 minutes is a little bit more cardiovascular to get your heart rate up. Then there's another program in there that's 30 minutes long. So the 30 minutes long, it's a little bit slower than the 15-minute one. There's a 45-minute and an hour and 15-minute workout program.
I could actually see this hanging in an office.
Yes.
And people doing it. Even though today I'm in a t-shirt and sweatpants.
Yes.
I really, it's something that people can do in their work clothes.
There's some law firms downtown that I go and I give them private lessons.
Didn't know
and
that.
They close the door, we put it behind their door, and they close the door, they take the tie off, and we go to town. Yes.
Excellent. All right. So what else is in here? Here is that the welcome letter?
Yeah, that's a welcome letter there. And on the other side of it, Jay.
Beautiful stationery, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's 2 of the same. Yeah. So that's the welcome letter.
Oh, and then I see your wife is also wrote part of the welcome letter.
Yes, absolutely.
Dr.
She
Farhi.
teaches the band just as I do. Yep.
And so what is this? Is basic explanation here?
Yeah, that's just that gives you a bird's eye view, a quick view of some of the different exercises that you can do. We have a lot of different accessories that go with the band as well, and there's a lot of different. There's very easy ways to get different types of stretching and strengthening exercises.
Well, here's a woman doing a handstand.
Yes.
Now, do you need somebody to assist you when you're using the Mighty Body Band, or do you use it by yourself?
That is a great question. And so of the thousands that we've sold, I would have to say 90% of them are people that buy them across the country and Canada. And they don't have anybody that teaches them how to use it. They actually go on YouTube. They get our videos that we send them. And I get very few calls of people saying, I don't understand this, because everything is really thorough in its approach. And it's very easy to use. I mean, you look at it, it's just 2 handles and a loop. It's very easy to use. so that's fine.
Okay. And here, I guess, is the instruction manual.
Yeah, it's a full-color manual.
Okay.
And it's actually 68 pages. And it goes actually from A to Z. So there's 26 different poses in there with very detailed instructions. So after the first, second, or third one, it just naturally comes very easily. So very often you'll go through 7 or 8 of them, and then in no time you'll be creating your own poses as well. So it's a great starter.
Now, I've been doing yoga for over 30 years. And back in the late 80s or 90s, my teachers went to Pune, India to study with Mr. Iyengar, and then they started to use the ropes.
Yes.
And I really got turned off because it was about the ropes instead of about going deeper into the pose and deeper into the body. But the difference I see right away is that the ropes I was using were static, whereas your ropes are dynamic. And what I mean by that is there's some flex and give to it.
Yes, yes. And that's very deliberate. So there's the static component, which means it doesn't stretch. It's a piece of rope that doesn't stretch, that's on a pulley. And then there's 2 other bungee cords that are different sizes. So one is really easy. A teenager can use it, or even we can use the light one to do different exercises. And then there's a heavier set bungee cord, and that's for if you want greater resistance. So you actually have 3 different options with the handles.
And you, and earlier today you told me how, you know, like you were working with a professional basketball player and football player, and you can combine the different ropes to even make it stronger or more challenging.
Yeah, well, you didn't miss a thing, because that's exactly right, Jay. It is. For example, can I say the names of some of the people I've worked with?
Oh, as long as it's okay with the people you've worked with.
That's fine. So Tommy Harris, he was on the Bears, and this guy is 340 pounds.
Yeah,
he is
he's a defensive lineman.
Yes, he's a big man. And so he did everything with this. He went upside down. As a matter of fact, he had such a playful demeanor, Jay, that he was cracking up so much, having so much fun with it, everybody else was laughing. So Luell Dang is the other person that I've worked a lot with. Chicago Bulls, and was formerly, And as a matter of fact, his business manager emailed me and said, Miguel, I travel with Luell everywhere. And for the first time, I can tell you that he was really stumped because he didn't know what he was going to displace. Even though the band takes up such a little room, he was so set in what he was taking that now he had to take the Mighty Body Band, which is this big. But he had to displace something to do that.
Well, you mentioned it's this big. Here, this is what the Mighty Body Bag comes in. It's, let's see, get it over here. It's a little backpack.
Yeah, backpack, very small backpack.
And you said it weighs what, 4.5 pounds?
Yeah, the whole thing. So there's this here, which is you could hook this up to a tree, up to a post, anything, but it's basically an attachment strap. So with everything, it's about 6.5 pounds altogether.
And you were telling me that there are people that like to do the Mighty Body Bands out in nature.
Absolutely. A lot of people use it outside. We sell a lot of these in California, and people send me emails. They send me pictures of how they hook them up to their trees. So, yeah.
Now,
it's very versatile.
I've seen books on couples yoga, and I've seen classes on couples yoga. Is it something spouses could do together, or boyfriends and girlfriends?
Oh, you could do so many things together. We actually do couples things with it. And what's really nice about it, it's really nice because you work together, you understand each other's body, you have a lot of fun doing it. It's very simple stuff, and it's very fun, and it's very effective.
Well, I think we've chatted enough.
Yeah.
You want to...
Would love to.
Love to demo this.
Would love to.
All right, so we're going to walk over carefully.
Yes.
And how about you start by identifying the various pieces to the Mighty Body Band.
Okay, Jay, absolutely.
And Jen, if Jen is working the camera over there, and if she wants to come in and help us.
We're always fine with the band. The more the merrier. Everybody
Well,
says a lot of
it
fun.
was interesting. This is Jen. How long have you been a volunteer?
6, 7 years, maybe.
Oh, it's got to be longer than
maybe
that.
longer than that.
Yeah.
You stop counting, right? You're having so much fun.
Anyway, so it just so happened Jen had taken your class.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, so all right. So why don't you start by identifying the various parts of of the body band?
Okay, great, Jay. Absolutely, thank you. So, when you look at the band, this is what it looks like. There's two parts to it. It's very, very simple. These are the handles. And incidentally, the handles can be used with the hands. They can be used through the arms to do various things. And they can also be inserted, the feet can be inserted or the legs. So there's a lot of different things you can do. We sometimes call them the handles and the footles, okay? So
the handles go to the hand and the footles go to the foot.
To the foot, exactly.
And so what would be some of the things you would do with the footles?
So the footles, well, I can tell you right now. So if we're going to work with that, I'm going to move this to the side. Now, to work with the footles, I'm actually going to lower this. This whole band lifts and it lengthens because you want to actually work with this, Jay, at unusual angles because it's sort of an anti-gravity device. So when you work at it at unusual angles, it's extremely healthy for your body. All the research science shows that work at unusual angles and you are working very efficiently. So
as soon as you said anti-gravity, I go, oh, the astronauts will be using it soon.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
I could see them doing it up in space, you know.
And that'll be an astronomical leap.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to back up for a minute just to kind of show you here, Jay.
Okay.
So this is hooked up, and incidentally, you can see it's hooked up to a door. So it's very easy. You just open up the door, and in this case, we're using it on the inside. We lock the door, and that's it. So I'm going to shorten it up a little bit, and then whenever I use this, I pull on it one time so the door wasn't locked all the way.
Okay.
So it wasn't shut. So we probably should have checked that. But that's good. So that's why we pull on it, Jay.
Yeah.
So let's just say we did that
I can
because
see.
we want to make sure we had a good connection.
Okay.
Now we lock the door and we got it. So
Okay.
now everybody knows when you use
we
this.
tested it out before the show. We tested it out last week and it worked perfectly.
Well, that's a great thing, though. It's good for people to know. That's why you always pull on it and what have you, because it is on a door. And doors, sometimes you think they're closed. So you close the door. Now, I'll pull on this with as much force as I want. So here, you can see these are two yellow-coated bungee cords. And there are also green ones, Jay. These green ones are much smaller, so they're easier to pull.
Okay.
So if I want a little bit more resistance, this supports me and it holds me up. So I could actually, if you will look at my shoulders and I'm working my core, the thing about the Mighty Body Band is it's always working from the core.
Why is the core so important?
Well, it's sort of like if you lift weights or something, okay? You go to lift weights and your lower, mid, and upper chains of the body are all engaged. They've got to be to get it up. So they're working with resistance and there's all this communication in your body. So when you're working with the band, it's the same thing. The resistance connects all the different muscles and the fascia of the body, which is a really great thing. That's what makes it a healthy workout.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of hours from work lost because of bad backs.
Yes.
So if somebody had a bad back, how could the Mighty Band be helpful or therapeutic?
Right. So great. So this is just gives you one example of what I did with the handles. So now this is the loop, Jay. And the loop is the same thing. It's very simple. It's just something that fits over my head like this. Okay?
Okay.
So I say the same thing. We will test one time. That's great. We've got the door secured. So for low back pain, I would back up. And then, because it's an anti-gravitational device, right now you can see my hands aren't on the floor. Or I can put them on the floor. But so many people have compressed from so much sitting. They have compressed spines, their piriformis muscles really tight, and it creates a lot of back pain for people. Just doing a simple exercise like this, couple times a day if you're able.
That would be great in an office. Somebody needs to get up from the chair. I mean, experts recommend, aerodynamic experts or ergodynamic.
Yes.
I recommend just getting up from the chair, taking a break.
Right. Well, that was just a pun because it's a little bit of both as well. It feels like it's aerodynamic, you're having fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's one thing that's really nice is spinal decompression. In the last year, there's been so much research showing that spinal decompression is just an amazing therapy. Simple band, anybody can do it anywhere. And that's it. I can do twists, Jay. I can do all kinds of different things.
Can you, do you do it very quickly, or do you get into the pose and hold it?
Well, you can do anything. It's a great question. There's a lot of different ways of exercising. Sometimes we do, fast. Sometimes we do slow. So let's just say, for example, that I wanted to do a really slow pose. What I'm going to do, just so I don't get my cord hooked up, I'm going to insert my left leg, and then I'm going to come forward. So a really nice example is in this pose here. You'd be surprised. It looks like an easy pose. It isn't. And if I have any type of an ailment going on, the support of the band allows me to really drop into the pose and feel it and experience it, so I can go extraordinarily slowly and just love every minute of it.
Now, is the low back part of the core?
It's related. Absolutely, it's related. Usually, if people with low backs, generally there is a correlation, but there are different groups of muscles involved with low back, such as tight hip rotators and things like that. So, but they are related. We say in the yoga world, there's only one muscle. There's 460 muscles. We say there's one. We treat the whole body as one muscle.
For union.
Yes, for union. Exactly right.
Working together.
Exactly right, Jay.
So you teach classes, and how long do your classes go on for? Let's say, like Jen took your class. How long was the class for? So
anywhere between an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. We do some classes, it just depends on the time of year. Some classes are an hour, most of them are an hour and 15 minutes.
And do you have like themes for the classes, like back bends, forward bends?
We do. Usually what it is it's a back bending class, so we start out with the warm-ups and then to graduate into the deeper poses because we want to get the muscles warm, we want to get the lubricants into the joints and things like that. Some of them might be for hamstrings, so we'll do a lot of different things to stretch the hamstrings, some for the upper shoulders.
Now, I see you're trying to get me to closer together. Okay. And now, traditional yoga classes end with Shavasana, or the corpse pose, deep relaxation. Do you do that as well?
You can use the band even for that, which is really nice. Your head weighs about 8 to 10 pounds. And all day long in our waking hours, our neck is supporting it. And that way, little by little, starts to push the neck out. It starts to push the low back out. So what's really nice with this is we actually, after class, we lay down and we put the head inside this loop here, and we get this really nice tractioning. And the great thing is, it just feels great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And well, also when I used to do Shavasana in a class, sometimes we'd elevate the feet just a little bit.
Yes.
I assume you could use that.
You could do that as well. I mean, I'd be more than glad to show you, but yeah, you can put your feet through there. You can do a lot of different things.
Okay. And what are some of the favorite poses of your students?
Yes.
You want to demonstrate?
I'd love to. I'd love to. Thanks for asking, Jay. So one thing that people love this, because after about 7 or 8 of these, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever experienced something like that before, even though they appear to have been doing the same movement pattern. So I'm on bungee right now. Do you see how it moves, Jay?
Yes.
And then,
and before I talked about how Iyengar, the ropes were static.
Right.
They didn't move like that. The bungee cords make it dynamic.
They make it dynamic, and right now it's static. It doesn't stretch. But this easy little, everything's color-coded here, so it's so easy to change things around. I take the rainbow strip off, and now look, now it moves. So what people love so much is we have them back up. We have them place this, and it's almost as if they were sitting into a chair, right? So then what we start to say is, okay, go move very slowly, up and down, up and down. And then once they start to check out the range of motion, then we bring the arms up. So you're totally using your core. This helps lower me, and it helps lift me up. And it is so much fun, and you get out, and you just have this feeling of it. You just want to go back in it again.
And how long will the straps last? Do you have like a guarantee?
I do. Actually, there's a 10-year guarantee on there's a lifetime guarantee on all of the hardware. I have never had one person send me a sample that was defective. These were tested in an engineering firm, every single part, so everything's been through tests, so it's pretty sturdy. It's very, very sturdy. It's actually rated for 225 pounds, I mean, now that you're asking that.
Well, and you had that football player who
exactly,
was
240, exactly,
yeah.
Yes.
Did you
yes,
have a
exactly.
special unit made for him?
No, we do have like this here. This bungee cord, this is a 1/2-inch bungee cord, so we do have some that are 3/4 inch. And so this gentleman that we're talking about, he used to use a really big, thick one because he would max out really easy, you know.
Yeah.
But this is really nice. Or you know, we do things like this that people love. I'll come in and it challenges your balance, and you come up and down like this. You know, hundreds, thousands of things you can do.
Okay. So you're only using part of it. What's the other one? I know those were the footsies, right?
Yeah, those are the foot handles, exactly. And you know, sometimes we use both of them. Like if I'm doing back bends, so one thing that's really nice, you were asking me, one of my favorite things is here, it's a back bend here. When I come in, look at this, it helps lower me and it helps pick me back up. So I don't throw my low back out, Jay, when I come up, and it's bouncy. So
it's like the wheel pose.
it is. It's the wheel pose. It lowers you, and then you engage your core, and it picks you up. It builds strength and flexibility at the same time. That's what makes this so unique. Strength and flexibility ratio.
Now, have you ever devised any exercise where somebody's sitting in a chair?
With this?
Yeah.
Well, the older population, we do. Like sometimes we'll come in and we'll have a chair. We use chairs a lot. And sometimes we'll sit in a chair, Jay, like the chair's here. And then what we'll do is we'll come up and we'll go down and we'll switch sides. But then after a while, when we introduce the movement pattern, we move the chair around. Sometimes we'll actually do, I don't know if the cameras can see this or not, but we cross this foot over and then look here. We do these exercises here where you increase your range of motion. And it's fun, and you feel so successful. And it's like, wow, my back feels great. And the women say all the time to me, this is a great toner. My husband likes it because it makes me look good.
I mean, obviously the doctors at the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute must believe in you and the Mighty Body Band. How did you get them to get started, and what do they use it there now? I mean, the doctors themselves, the physicians.
No, I'm so glad you asked that because I would not have thought to have said that myself. So they actually came to me. There was one of their staff took my classes and went back to the facility manager, Paul Schmidt, and said, oh my gosh, you have to check this out. So he called the regional manager. They sent somebody over to take some classes, and then they contacted me and said, we love your system. We sat down, and then we drew up a contract, and we're teaching classes out of there.
Well, the demonstration doesn't do it justice. I saw it on YouTube, and then until I actually physically did it.
Right.
So I encourage you to take one of Miguel's classes.
Thank you, Jay.
And experience it for yourself. For more information about Miguel, Infinity Foundation, InnerQuest Talk Show, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Until next time, wish you good health, good fortune, and good spirits. Miguel, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
For more information about this show, our guests, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847-831-8828.